Hey everybody, another episode coming up. Jesus coming for an outcast. It better be you one of these days because he's coming soon, right? Okay, so today it's Mephibosheth. I'm on this road. Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan. And Samuel, before David took the throne, he had a friend, a best friend, Jonathan, the son of the king, Saul, and they loved each other. Well, Jonathan had a son, Mephibosheth. And in 2 Samuel 4:4, the word says, let me get to it. Here it is. Now, Jonathan, Saul's son, had a son who was lame of his feet. He was 5 years old when the news came of Saul and Jonathan out of Jezreel, and his nurse took him up and fled. And it happened as she was hurrying to get away that he fell and became lame. And his name was Mephibosheth. Okay, remember Saul disobeyed God. So the Lord said, I'm going to take this kingdom from you. I'm going to give it to your neighbor. And that was David. He'd been preparing David. So when the Lord did what he said he was going to do, word came and said, hey man, the king's dead and his sons and they're coming. So everybody was trying to flee, especially the king's sons or any the lineage of the king, because they're in line for the throne. And usually kingdoms come, the first thing they do is kill all the heirs. Okay, so he they're trying to get him away, hide him probably, but they fall. He falls or she falls, and I don't know. It just says he's lame both his feet. Maybe he broke both his knees or his hips or injured his tailbone, his spine, something, because he's lame now. You know? Okay. Now we're going to jump ahead. Now this is a picture of God's grace, what we're about to study right here. Just plain and simple grace. There are a lot of different types of Christ in the Old Testament, shadows of his coming, and this is one of them. This is one of my favorites. The second text is 2 Samuel 9 verse 1. Remember that first one was 2 Samuel 4 verse 4. Okay. Now, 2 Samuel chapter 9 verse 1 says, David said, is there yet any who is left of the house of Saul, that I may show him kindness for Jonathan's sake? Now, you see, he said house of Saul for Jonathan's sake. Saul was trying to kill David. Saul was cruel to him, a lot of things, but you know what? David didn't hold that against him. You know, he knew that God was sovereign and this was all part of the plan. I've had to learn that too. Okay, verse 2. There was one of the house of Saul, a servant whose name was Ziba, and they called him to David. And the king said to him, are you Ziba? He said, your servant is he. The king said, is there not yet any of the house of Saul, that I may show the kindness of God to him? That's that grace. Ziba said to the king, Jonathan has yet a son who is lame of his feet. I'm going to stop there for a second. Why do people always add little tags? Like say, hey man, y'all seen Bobby? Oh yeah, he's over there in Iowa, probably strung out. Or up to no good or something. Everybody always has to put their little piece on there, but it's for a reason, or it doesn't matter. God doesn't mind, because watch what David says. The king said to him, where is he? Ziba said to the king, look, he is in the house of Machir, the son of Amiel, in Lodebar. Lodebar, that word means dry and barren pasture or pastureless. It's just like a desert. Okay, have you ever been in the desert? I was in under the desert when God's grace reached me. Verse 5. Then King David sent and fetched him out of the house of Machir the son of Amiel from Lodebar. Okay, another little point. I'm sure as the years went slowly by that Mephibosheth, it had it cross his mind, maybe one of these days David's going to come for me. He's going to find out I'm alive and he's going to kill me because I'm an heir to the throne. Or people have been telling him or scaring him or talking. I mean, who knows what this poor guy's been through? He was the grandson of the king. Now he's lame, living in a pastureless land, crippled as a child. Doesn't that it's starting to sound familiar, ain't it? Okay, now listen. Verse 6. Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, came to David and fell on his face and showed respect. David said, Mephibosheth. He answered, Look, your servant. And David said to him, Do not be afraid, for I will surely show you kindness for Jonathan your father's sake, and will restore to you all the land of Saul your grandfather. You shall eat bread at my table continually. He bowed down and said, What is your servant, that you should look on such a dead dog as I am? Then the king called to Ziba, Saul's servant, and said to him, All that pertained to Saul and to all his house have I given to your master's son. You shall till the land for him, you and your sons and your servants, and you shall bring in the harvest, that your master's son may have bread to eat. But Mephibosheth, your master's son, shall eat bread always at my table. Now Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. Then Ziba said to the king, According to all that my lord the king commands his servant, so your servant shall do. So Mephibosheth ate at the king's table like one of the king's sons. Mephibosheth had a young son whose name was Micah. All that lived in the house of Ziba were servants to Mephibosheth. So Mephibosheth lived in Jerusalem, for he ate continually at the king's table. He was lame in both his feet. Okay, friends, we'll go up to where Mephibosheth comes, you know, and he said, Who am I, the dead dog, that you should, you know, give this honor? I mean, in those days, dogs were scavengers. They weren't household pets. It with the Jews like we got them today. They were considered scavengers, unclean. So, and in other words, look, I'll just throw out some uh, little pieces that blessed me, and I'll let it do work on y'all. I won't explain everything. Just look how God is, man. So here's this child, just like me and you. He's crippled, you know, and pretty much at birth. He's a kid. We say 4 years old, but us we was crippled at birth, and with sin. His was a fall, and we suffer from that same fall, the fall in the garden. I've been crippled with sin since the fall in the garden. But God's grace, like David says, I want to show God's kindness. And that's that grace. I don't know why he let me hear the message and respond to it. Now I'm gonna live forever. It's a wrap. Like I tell my friends, that the skeptics or whatever, you know, I'm like, it doesn't matter if I've been deceived. That's okay. Whatever city I'm living in, it's a safer place for y'all. So just be glad that Bobby's deceived, okay? Because this is how I'm gonna stay forever. This is me now. This is what I want to do, and just work and talk to people, you know. So he was crippled in the fall. We were crippled in the fall in the garden, Adam and Eve. Okay, God's kindness, that grace goes out. You hear the message. Jesus came. He lived sinless life, died in our place, rose the third day to prove he was who he said he was. And if we receive that by faith, ask him in our heart and in our life, it's a wrap, man. We're his. And he's going to deal with us. We're his. Servants, whatever, we're brothers, everything. But he'll have us do things. I'm telling you, it's great. And so look. Now he's coming in as a son. You see, David don't even answer and reply to that little comment. Who am I, a dead dog? David just overlooks it. He doesn't, oh, come on, don't say that. No, he doesn't say nothing because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how dirty, unclean you think you are. People have told you are, that you're crippled. It doesn't matter. You know, now you're a son. You're fixing to eat with the king. Remember Psalm 23rd? The Lord prepares a table before us in the presence of our enemies. Man, listen to me. It doesn't matter what you've done, what you're into, whatever. Man, God loves you. He has a plan. He can take it away. Everybody says, well, we thought you were just going to die in prison or on heroin. Yeah, well, thanks for the confidence, you know. No, God had another plan. It's simple. It's really easy when I just let go. That's why I get angry sometimes when, these legalists, they're like, oh, well, you ain't got nothing to do with getting called and staying saved. Nothing. Nothing. Why are you worried about other people if they had a real encounter with Jesus or not? Why? There's a difference between holding people accountable and going around spreading fear. You're going to lose your salvation. Man, that's heresy, man. You know, Paul said if anybody comes preaching another gospel, man, you know, let them be cursed. They're serious. It's Christ crucified, nothing else. It's just Jesus, nothing else. Come on, y'all. It's real easy. He's coming soon. So now he's there with the king. Just like us now, we're saying, oh no, I ain't, we're not automatically going to have it made and the shade and all that. No, but man, it's a journey and it's loving. And he's there with us. We have him. We have his presence, you know, and that was it. He went from one extreme to another, from Lo-debar, pastureless land, boom, to the king's table. That's how we do it. That you ain't working toward that king's table. You're not working your salvation and all that. Come on, people. It's right there. He went from probably starving or on a diet for sure. You know, there ain't no wheat growing out there. It's pastureless. I don't know what they were surviving on. From there, just the journey. In the journey, he wasn't thinking, oh, I got it made now. No, he was dreading. He was dreading, but boom, that grace, man. Man, you know what? God's good. Thanks, y'all. I'm going to cut this one down. Somebody drop me an email, a prayer request, or something. God bless y'all.